senator his 3 days of sworn testimony about himself when he filed, and won, a defamation lawsuit to deal with false assertions made about him during his 1964 presidential bid. These materials are the sources of this book. This is not, however, a belated autobiography. It is more a scrapbook of important thoughts. It is more nuggets than narrative. Still, we think the collected material provides a most revealing view of Goldwater. This is not the material polished by speechwriters or staff, not the words of ghostwriters or co-authors. Rather, this is material directly from Goldwater himself. At times, when circumstances permitted, his words were well chosen and professionally written. Other times, which was most of the time, he was rushed, so the material is raw and real, unpolished, but informative. When we found this material, most of it at the Arizona Historical Foundation, it struck us as pure gold, and more appropriately, pure Goldwater. It is the voice of a man we knew, at times the happy malcontent, as one commentator described him, and more often simply a man who enjoyed the hell out of doing whatever he was doing. As such, it offers not the view of a biographer, who by definition filters a subject through his or her own outlook or agenda, or even an autobiographical view, for Goldwater produced several autobiographical works, working with other writers, and though they are excellent, they are more filtered, restrained, impersonal, and distant than the material we found. We believe this material, which was not written for publication, although he left it behind, knowing others might be interested in it, is far more intimate and revealing than his co-written autobiographical works. Simply stated, this is a collection of material that reveals the heart and soul of a political figure who remains important to this day. But before turning to this material, we should provide a bit more background. In assembling this unpublished material, we were very aware that we were gathering the words of a man who was the longtime friend to one of us, and the father of the other. This situation could easily produce hagiography, although that is not our intent, nor do we believe, given the autobiographical nature of the material, that it is by definition possible. But our conflicts of interest and credentials need to be mentioned briefly. For over 50 years, since we first met in our early teens at Stanton Military Academy, a private secondary school in Stanton, Virginia, from which Senator Goldwater graduated as well, but which is no longer in existence, we have been close friends. We both pursued early careers in public service in Washington, D.C., largely because of the influence of the senator, not because he suggested it to either of us, but because we both saw what he was doing with his life and why he was doing it. He made service in Washington, D.C., appealing, if not a high calling. Our admiration and respect for the subject of this work, the love of a son for his father, and the fraternal affection one has for a good friend, in addition to our own careers in government, we submit uniquely qualifies us for this project, because we remain curious about this man who so influenced our lives as he did his nation. We feel we are able to recognize material that is both revealing about him and relevant today, and we are able to bring our own enthusiasm for the importance of knowing this man as we knew him to this undertaking. As we explain in the acknowledgments, we have been assisted greatly in this project by other members of the Goldwater family, by which we mean both consanguinity and affinity, both literally and figuratively, to be very Bill Buckley-esque about it, as well as by the staff of the Arizona Historical Foundation, the able people who are the keepers of the Goldwater papers. At times the senator's handwriting required translation. His typing makes it obvious that he never attended secretarial school, not to mention that he used his portable typewriter when camping or traveling, often in less than ideal circumstances. This, for example, from a July 3rd